Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It is September 6th, 2023, and the time is 12:01 p.m. We will call this Indigenous Commission meeting to order. And if I can get the assistance from Rose to do roll call, please. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Commissioner Cuddy-Eye?
I'm present.
And Commissioner or Co-Chair Toya,
Present.
Co-Chair Washington,
Present.
Commissioner Marks, Commissioner Lance,
Present.
Commissioner Whitehat,
I'm here.
Commissioner Yellowhair.
Called it.
Thank you. And then Commissioner Zavala. Okay, go ahead, Co-Chair.
May I have Commissioner Whitehat read the land acknowledgement, if you're okay with that?
Okay.
I was all ready to read it. This is Diana.
Oh, hi,
I'm
Diana.
happy to let Diana read since she was looking
Okay,
forward
that's
to
fine.
it.
Okay. Thank you, Diana, if you don't mind.
The Flagstaff City Council humbly acknowledges ancestral homelands of this area's indigenous nations and original stewards. These lands, still inhabited by native descendants, order mountains sacred to indigenous peoples. We honor them, their legacies, their traditions, and their continued contributions. We celebrate their past, present, and future generations who will forever know this place as home.
Schoolie, we can move forward to number 3 on the agenda, which is public comment. Do we have anyone here for public comment at this time? No one here for public comment. So we can proceed and move forward to item number 4, which is approval of minutes. Item A. I'm sorry, let me go back a little bit. Approval of minutes would be for, I believe, the past meeting, right, in August. Can we get an approval of the minutes?
It's for July 9th, the approval of retreat minutes.
Okay. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes from July 9th. If I can get a second to motion that.
This is Joe Washington. I second.
Thank you, Joe. And we can move forward to the next agenda item, which is going.
Co-Chair, we
Yes,
need to
ma'am.
vote. We need to vote to approve the minutes.
All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Majority rules. Motion is approved to approve the minutes from July 9th, 2023. Now we can move forward to agenda item number 5, which is general business. Possible vote.
Good afternoon, members of the Indigenous Commission. Thank you for having me today. I'm Stacy Fobar, your Deputy City Clerk. Ms. Tohi asked me to please go over the boards and commissions training with you all again. We are planning on having this in person for all of the commissions upcoming soon. probably the beginning part of next year. But we did want to go over this again. It will be very similar to what you watched online. I did take out my terrible jokes though, so hopefully that helps. And can you all see my screen okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Terrific. All right. Let me make sure I'm in the correct spot. All right. So today's agenda will see and hopefully get a better understanding of the city's leadership structure. We'll understand your role as commissioner, learn how to communicate with the public and council, understand open meeting law a little bit better, learn about public records. We're going to explore conflict of interest law. We'll talk about elections and appointments, and I'll have some time to answer questions. Some of this material is usually covered by our attorneys. I am taking it today, but if you do have any questions, we can always reach out to an attorney. To give you an idea of our commissions, here's a fair sampling of our commissions with their staff liaisons. Rose works very closely with all of these liaisons, and we meet quarterly so that we can share ideas, make sure that we're all communicating on projects that we're working on, and see if there's anything that commissions can work with in conjunction. So for the Flagstaff municipal government, we have the voters of Flagstaff, which oversee, of course, City Council. City Council boards and commissions are directly appointed by them and report to City Council. Our city manager reports directly to City Council as well. So does our city attorney and the city clerks. The city manager has 2 deputy city managers under him, a senior deputy city manager and a regular deputy city manager. The city clerk currently reports to one of the deputy city managers, as well as other departments are broken up between the deputy city managers, with some reporting directly to the city manager. Now let's talk about what's really important, the commission member role. So we greatly appreciate your expertise in guiding council. The first thing we want to talk about is appointments. We have, for the Indigenous Commission, rolling appointments. So they started with some people having a year for their appointment, some people having 2 years for their appointment, some people having 3 years for their appointment. After that initial term, full terms are 3 years, and commissioners may serve 2 full terms and 1 partial term. When making appointments, there's no preference given to current commissioners by council, and the appointments are done at council discretion. As we said, seats on commissions expire on a rotating basis, and commissioners generally may only serve on 1 commission at a time unless they are a liaison to another commission or committee. That happens a lot with the Planning and Zoning Commission, where they liaison with other commissions so that they have an idea of what the Parks and Rec Commission is doing, or Heritage Preservation, or what have you. If you decide that you would like to serve on a different commission after your term is done on the Indigenous Commission, you can apply to a different commission during the last 6 months of your term. Excuse me. Additionally, if you have served all of your terms and you are no longer eligible to serve, you just have to be off the commission for 1 full calendar year, and then you can reapply and be eligible to serve again. You must be a resident of Flagstaff at this time for the duration of your term, unless you are an IPAC representative. What do you do when your commission has poor attendance? Well, as a commission, you can recommend the removal of any member who is absent for more than 2 consecutive regular meetings without prior notification. That same rule applies if the member is absent for more than 30% of all meetings during the 12-month period. That recommendation would, of course, go to council, and it should be directed through the city clerk's office. Now, what types of commissions are there? Well, there's 4 main types of commissions. Most of ours, including the Indigenous Commission, fall under the advisory category. Advisory commissions have the primary responsibility of advising and making recommendations to the City Council. We also have ad hoc committees. They're also advisory in nature, but they're only created to study, review, and make recommendations regarding specific issues designated by City Council. They're established for only a limited, clearly defined period of time. We do have some decision-making boards, such as Planning and Zoning, the Board of Adjustment, and Building and Fire Code Board of Appeals. That public body possesses the power to select a course of action for multiple alternatives without having to seek approval from City Council. And then finally, we have quasi-judicial commissions. They're a public body possessing the power to hold hearings on disputed matters between a private person and the public agency, such as the Building Board of Adjustment and the Building and Fire Code Board of Appeal or the Personnel Board. Boards and commissions are able to make specific groups within themselves as well. We have subcommittees. The Transportation Commission has two subcommittees, the Bicycle Advisory Committee and the Pedestrian Advisory Committee. And those bodies are charged with the same powers, duties, and responsibilities as the commission, but they have a specific duty or role that they will advise the commission on. Subcommittees can be a great way to involve individuals who maybe aren't ready to serve on commission but would like to help out in other ways. Those are subject to open meeting law, so that is one thing to keep in mind if you ever need to form a subcommittee or a working group. Now, where I can see you guys having something where you might want to do is to make an informal working group. Informal working groups may be created to research, gather information, and provide recommendations back to the commission on various matters. So they can consist of members of the public and a less than a quorum of commission members, and all information and recommendations from the work group must be provided and presented to the commission in an open meeting for public discussion. So let's say you guys are looking at several different venues for an Indigenous center or cultural center or something of that nature, and you want to have an informal working group working to make pro cons lists for each location. That could be an informal working group, and it would then be presented to the commission for final decision. Or are there any questions before I move on? All righty. We did want to talk about code of conduct. Of course, your code of conduct as a commission member is very important, can strengthen or undermine the credibility of your commission and the decisions or recommendations that it makes. Your statements and actions assume special significance and, if not responsibly discharged, could be detrimental to the city's best interests. In addition, improprieties of a commission member can have a legal impact on the city. As an official member of the City of Flagstaff team, the city policies apply to you, and we can always send those to you if need. They are available on our HR website as well. Talking about decorum in meetings, the chair, or in this case, the co-chairs, are the presiding officer in all commission proceedings. During the absence of the chair, the vice chair or co-chair acts as the chair. If neither one of them is available, you can appoint someone to work as a chair. Members may speak after recognition by the chair, and the chair shall not unreasonably withhold such recognition. When two or more members wish to speak, the chair shall determine the order of speaking and recognize the first speaker. While a member is speaking, no other member shall interrupt except to make a point of order or a point of personal privilege. If you ever have any questions about those, we generally follow Robert's Rules of Order here at the city for commission meetings, and you also can take a look at the council's rules of procedure as well, if that ever becomes an issue, which I don't think I've ever seen that used in a commission meeting so far. And you can always check back into the board and commission members' rules and operations manual for more information. Some general tips for meetings: refrain from side conversations during the meeting. That can look suspicious for people who are watching or people who are attending. Turn off your phone ringer or computer sounds so that you don't have extra distractions. Wait for the previous person to finish their comments. Speak clearly for the audience and for the note taker. And if you're unable to attend a meeting in person, please contact your staff liaison to attend virtually. As you all know, you are still virtual, so that's not yet an issue. If you ever do go back to full time, we are intending on if you're ever intending on going back in person, not full time, we are intending on keeping all meetings hybrid and recorded in Microsoft Teams to be published on YouTube later. So a lot of the questions that we get is, I have this idea, and I want to get it on agenda. How can I? So items may be placed on a commission agenda in response to direction from the city council or city manager as requested by any commission member at a public meeting, usually at the end of your meeting and to from. In a response to a request from the chairperson, so let's say you're not in a meeting and something comes up, you could email your co-chairs and say, hey, could you please ask Rose to put this on the meeting agenda? Rose can find information that she thinks needs to be put on the agenda and brought to the commission. She may add it to the agenda, and other commissions can request as well. Please remember that the agenda item should be specific enough to allow members of the public to have a general idea of what will be discussed and may be voted on if it's for action. The public is entitled to know what potentially could take place. So what do you do next after getting items on the agenda and having your agenda set up? You need to ensure that you have a quorum of members at your next meeting. The City of Flagstaff, we allow for public comment. We address any conflicts of interest if you have a remote or substantial interest. A remote interest, it'd be if you own less than 3% of the stock in a company that's being presented or being discussed. Remote interests are considered so minor that they do not constitute legitimate conflicts of interest. So I can't really think of a great example for you all. If you have one, please feel free to share it. But the one I used in our big training was if you own 3% of Best Food stock and there's a person who would like to have mayo dispensers put into a city park for any found sandwiches, because I'm a huge Parks and Rec fan apparently, then would you have a remote interest? No. But if you owned a majority of Best Foods and you own the mayonnaise dispensaries, then yes, you would have a substantial conflict of interest and you must remove yourself from the discussion. By removing yourself from the discussion, generally what we recommend is removing yourself completely from the meeting. So if you're in person, we ask you to leave the room, not even sit in the audience, because you could influence the other commissioners with just looks, or in this case, step away from the computer, don't be on camera, and step away, and you cannot speak on the item. Once those are finalized, you can discuss the item. Working with other commissions. So I would love to encourage everyone to work with other commissions, whoever that you're working with. I know that Rose has been doing a great job bringing in other commissions to speak to you and working with other commissions to make sure that your interests are coordinated with them. So during your discussion, your commission decides that you should work with the Parks and Rec Commission, for example. Rose can reach out to the Parks and Recreation Commission staff liaison to coordinate meetings or information sharing opportunities. And once the Parks and Recreation Commission has reviewed whatever you send to them, Rose can coordinate the findings back with you. And you may also send a chairperson to the Parks and Recreation Commission to speak on your behalf if you wish, or another person who you designate in a meeting to speak on behalf of your commission. Recommendations to council. Of course, you have Councilmember Matthews on your commission as the council liaison, which is very helpful. But you also have the ability to, present to the city manager through your staff liaison. So your commission decides on a course of action that you would like to recommend to council. Rose can then bring a detailed report that you all prepare to the city manager, Greg Clifton, for him to put it on council agenda or in another format. So really what happens is you guys decide, hey, we're going to recommend that a cultural center be built here. Here are all the reasons why, a detailed report on how the funding, everything, why you've picked that particular spot. City manager would get that report from Rose. He'd say, yes, I want this to go before council. We're going to put it on this agenda. Council will discuss it and move from there and either accept the recommendation or discuss more or whatever they need to do. As I mentioned, you do have Councilmember Matthews as your council representative. Her goal is to gather information from the commission and share that information with City Council. She can also convey the information from the council to the commission or provide feedback on council decisions or directions. She is attending online, as you see, but if she cannot make it to a meeting, she is of course able to meet with Rose and talk about, hi, Councilmember Matthews, and talk about the information that has been collected. And of course, she can read all of the minutes and agendas and view the recordings too. Representatives are also able to provide information about a recommendation made by the commission during their report at council meeting. So as you know, you as commission have one voice, but that does not mean that you lose your own voice. So as a member of a board of commission, you do not lose your rights as a private citizen. In that vein, you cannot use your official title or make any statement as a representative or member of your commission to influence an election for their personal position or for personal benefit. We're getting into the legal information now, so let's talk a little bit about open meeting law. So our goal here at the City of Flagstaff is to ensure that we do not have a cloak of secrecy. We want everything to be transparent and open for everyone in our area, even not just for the City of Flagstaff. So open meeting law is based off of this statement, which is from Arizona Revised Statutes, Chapter 38, 431-01.01, excuse me. All meetings of any public body shall be public meetings, and all persons so desiring shall be permitted to attend and listen. All legal action of public bodies shall occur during a public meeting. And then what constitutes a meeting? A meeting is a gathering in person or through technological devices of a quorum of a public body at which they discuss, propose, or take legal action. This includes telephone and email communications. So if you have 4 members chatting about what makes a certain venue the most desirable, that is a violation of open meeting law. The intent of open meeting law is for openness in government. Arizona's public policy, official deliberations and proceedings are conducted openly. We try to maximize public effort, and any uncertainty is resolved in the favor of openness. So in doubt, always try and do the most transparent thing possible. Meetings shall be open to the public. Legal action must take place in a public meeting. The proposing and discussing of action must take place in a public meeting, and only agenda items may be discussed. That's very important because it gives the people a chance to come in and voice their opinions or write to you all about their opinions. And if an agenda item, if something comes up and it's off the agenda, your staff liaison will need to stop you, and you can ask for that to be placed on a future agenda item. Right. Our legal team does like to have these cute little things in here. So meetings must comply with the notice, agenda, and minutes requirements. Your meetings notices must say when and where, information to inform the public of the matters to be discussed or decided. And there is a 24-hour minimum posting notice requirement. So it has to be posted online and physically in an accessible place. So if you have a meeting on Monday at 2 o'clock, well, the building where our posting board is posted is not available on Saturdays, so it would need to be posted on Thursday. Well, that'd be best. But it does need to be a minimum of 24 hours for the public to be able to access it. What is our quorum requirement? A quorum is a majority of membership. You guys have 7 members, so 7 voting members, I should say. So 4 members equals a quorum of the voting members. And if you don't have a quorum, you need to stop the meeting and adjourn. You shouldn't even call it to order. Discussions and presentations should be rescheduled, and please communicate with your staff liaison if you are unable to attend a meeting so that they know and they can reschedule if need be. If you lose quorum while you're in the meeting, if 3 people, 4 people needed to drop off this meeting now, commissioners, then we would have to adjourn the meeting, stop and adjourn the meeting. Executive sessions require prior consent of the city attorney and the staff liaison. There are only a few matters for which the executive session is accepted for public bodies to go into. I believe it's 7. And the ones that are most used for boards commissions are legal advice, property negotiations, and employment. We wanted to touch a bit on email and other communications. Just a reminder that email communications may constitute a meeting, so do not reply all to your commission meetings, notices, or emails. The use of email among a quorum of members to discuss public matters is prohibited by the open meeting law because the public does not have access. That again is for things to discuss public matters. So if you're doing something purely administrative, I would still prefer you to go through Rose. That is the easiest way to ensure that we do not violate open meeting law. But if you send out an email to all of your commission members saying, I'm sorry, I just got really sick and I can't attend today's meeting, that is not going to be a violation of open meeting law. Or, hey guys, I just got in a car accident. I won't be able to make it. That's fine. Hopefully never happens, but it is fine. One of the other things is emails regarding commission business are a public record. So any emails that you send out from your personal email, your personal computer, your work computer, those can all be pulled in a public records request. So I want all records from the commission on the Thorpe Park Annex. That could be a public records request, and then you all would need to turn those emails over to our public records department. And then we want to ensure that there's no serial communications. We want to ensure that no one is passing along, positions of commissioners on whether or not they're voting yes or no. So the staff liaison may not communicate the positions of various commissioners. So if Ms. Toya was like, I want to know how Mr. Yellowhair feels about this, and asks Rose, Rose should say, I'm sorry, I cannot communicate the position of the other commissioners. That would need to be discussed in a public meeting. I think Rose is already using this. If you all would like to as well, just to ensure compliance with the open meeting law, recipients of this message should not forward it to other board members, and board members should not reply to this message or reply all. Okay, so here's the real reason why we completely harp about this a lot. If it is determined that members of a board or commission have violated the open meeting law, who pays the fine? Do we have any guesses?
Excuse me?
Yes.
I'm not too sure if Commissioner Lance maybe has a question. I just see a
no.
little. Okay, I'm just double checking. I just saw
I'm okay.
the glowing on your content there. All right, just making sure. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So do we have any guesses on who pays the fine? Should I call on someone?
Member does.
That is correct, council member, the member who committed the violation. And we do not want to cost you all any money. We appreciate you all so much working and volunteering your time. So that's why we keep harping on it. It's
Nancy, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So, is this the same as for city council? If there is a open meeting violation, it's reported to the state attorney general?
Yes. Yes. So it is complaint driven.
Thank you.
Yes. If a commissioner is found guilty of an open meeting law violation, a court may levy a fine of up to $500 against the commissioner for each violation. And again, the commissioner personally must pay the fine, and the commissioner is subject to removal from office. So again, that's why we harp on this so much. And I know we sound like a broken record, so I apologize. All right. Another question with open meeting law. If you and other members of your board all show up to a public event, are you allowed to speak to each other? That is correct, you are. So for social events, let's say Commissioner Marks had a fun event planned at the high school, and he invited all of the commissioners to attend. What you could do is post a notice of possible quorum, and that is a courtesy through the city. So if it does not happen, we are not in violation of open meeting laws. However, it is our preferred way of doing business here. So we do want to ensure that we include Rose on any social events that the rest of the commission might attend. You're going to include a statement on that notice that no business in public body will be discussed and no action taken. And a quorum of commissioners should avoid talking with each other, or you should have a witness. So if all 7 of you are together, that's okay, but just make sure you have somebody else involved and that there's people that can see you and hear what you're talking about, and make sure that it's not discussing any public business. So how to avoid pitfalls with open meeting law? Don't poll the other commission members on commission business. Limit your discussions with other commissioners to public meetings. Don't send emails to each other. Distribute information to your commission through your staff liaison, and disband meetings when a quorum is not in attendance. If you guys have things like articles that you want to share with the rest of the commission, please send them to Rose and ask her to send them out. As a commission member, do you have to retain a copy of all the agendas that have been sent to you by your staff liaison? You do not. Those are all available online on our website, and the city staff have those in permanent retention. If you have notes that you take at a meeting, are those public record? If they are not just administrative in nature, then possibly, but since they're just usually for your own use during a meeting, they are not public record. You receive emails from a member of the public about an issue that is on a future agenda. The email is sent to your personal email address and you view the email on your home computer. Do you have to retain that email? Correct. Yes, you do have to retain it. That is public record. Public records and other matters in the custody of any officer shall be open to inspection by any person at all times during office hours. So if we receive a public records request for something, we will let you all know. We will email you, call you, and ask you to please provide that information if it exists. All officers and public bodies shall maintain all records reasonably necessary or appropriate to maintain an accurate knowledge of their official activities. And that's the record keeper requirement from Arizona Revised Statute.
Stacy,
Yes,
can I interrupt again? I'm sorry.
of course.
Just 2 things. If there was a request for public records, that cannot be shared with anyone, correct? Like you couldn't tell your friends, oh, we got a request for an open, copies of our emails or.
I actually don't know how that would play out. So I think that's probably more of a question for Larissa, I'm afraid, who's out of
Okay.
the office today. But public records requests are actually public record as well.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So let's get back to public records of what are records. So records are defined in Arizona Revised Statutes as all books, papers made or received by any governmental agency in pursuance of law or in connection with the transaction of public business as evidence of the organization, functions, policies, decisions, procedures, operations, or other activities of the government. Now that's a lot. So again, luckily commissions are advisory in nature. So since you guys aren't making a lot of decisions, most of the notes and things like of that nature that you take will be administrative. If in doubt, please do not hesitate to contact the city clerk's office, have Rose do it, and we will run it through our public records department and our attorney. Okay. So we want to talk a little bit of conflict of interest law. I know we touched on it earlier. It does apply to all public officers, including board and commission members, and of course, all public employees. So it's generally from Arizona Revised Statute, Chapter 38. A public officer or employee who has or whose relative has a substantial interest in a decision of the public agency or in any contract, sale, purchase, or service to such public agency must disclose that interest in the official record and not vote on or participate in this decision or transaction. Again, a substantial interest means any non-speculative pecuniary or proprietary interest, either direct or indirect, other than a remote interest. Generally, any interest that affects you or your relatives' financial or property interests. There are 3 questions to identify a conflict of interest. Will my decision have a positive or negative impact on my interests or that of my relatives? Do I have a monetary or ownership interest in that matter? And is my interest other than one of the designated remote interests? Remote interests are financial and property interests deemed to be so minor as to not trigger the reporting and non-participation requirements. For example, a member of planning and zoning who is a non-salaried officer of a nonprofit voting to approve a new building is a remote, and a member of the water commission who receives the same water and sewer services as other citizens may vote on new water and sewer rates. If you have a remote interest, you may still vote and participate in discussions. And what to do if you have a substantial conflict: refrain from voting, please leave the room as we discussed. Make the conflict of interest known in the official records. So Chair Toya, I'm sorry, I have a conflict of interest on this item. I am going to recuse myself and leave the room. I will rejoin the meeting when we are done with this matter. So again, leave the table or the room. And if you're not sure, ask your staff liaison to forward a request for an opinion to the city attorney's office. And opinions by the city attorney regarding conflicts of interest are matters of public record. Gifts and bribes. This is other prohibitions for conflict of interest. Never use your official position to secure and never accept any valuable thing or benefit that would not ordinarily accrue in the performance of official duties. Tickets to concerts, dinner, gift certificates, etc. are considered gifts. For example, when I'm out doing liquor licenses, a lot of people, especially if it's the end of the day, will offer me a drink or to come back later to have a free drink on them for helping them out. And I will always refuse, which probably isn't that bad, but I don't need that much alcohol in my life. Public perceptions. We just want to make sure that there's not the appearance of a conflict, just so we can ensure public trust. So add additional filters to your decision-making process. Is there a significant appearance that your continued participation would harm your credibility or that of your board or the city? And is the accusation reasonably grounded? Remedies. Contracts are voidable. Affected persons may sue, and courts may assess attorneys' fees and costs. They can also result in the forfeiture of office. It could be a felony if you are knowingly violating the conflict of interest law. And it could be a misdemeanor for a negligent or reckless violation of conflict of interest law. All right, we're kind of finally back into my part of the presentation where we're talking about elections. So let's say the upcoming election includes a proposition that asks the community to rezone a park area for a cultural center. A member of the citizens group supporting the proposition asks the Indigenous Commission to draft a formal letter of support. Can the commission draft the letter? Well, public bodies cannot influence an election. So we have a prohibition on influencing elections. A city or town shall not spend or use its resources, including the use or expenditure of monies, facilities, personnel, equipment, materials, buildings, or any other thing of value of the city or town for the purpose of influencing the outcomes of elections. So no, you cannot write that letter. You must be strictly neutral on ballot measures, and you can only provide strictly neutral education. So boards and commissions may not make recommendations for elective candidates or take a position on election issue. You may not use your official title or make any statement as a representative or member of the commission to influence an election for their personal position or for personal benefit. However, once again, you do not lose your rights as a private citizen to influence an election. So you say, myself, Stacy Fobar, I, as an individual person, support this measure moving forward. We do have some resources for you available. We have the board and commission web pages. Here's my contact information. You can find the agendas and minutes at agenda.flagstaffaz.gov. You can view the council meetings when they're streaming, and of course, Arizona meeting law statutes. I'm going to quickly open up the boards commissions page. And I'm take just a minute here to load up. We do have a spot here for all of our commissions, including the Indigenous Commission, which has all the information about the Indigenous Commission on it, including your enacting authority. Please always feel free to review your authority if you have any questions about what the commission is supposed to do. I know Rose has done an amazing job of breaking that down for you all, especially in the retreats for figuring out work plans. Additionally, we have our YouTube video link here and all of that information. On our main boards commissions page, the manual is located here for you. And then, of course, there's a link to the old training, which you can just watch me awkwardly try to make jokes and nobody laugh at them. So this, if you haven't had a chance to read the board and commission guide, it has all the information that you could use in it. To answer any of your questions in the future. And of course, if you ever have any questions, do not hesitate to contact the city clerk's office. And I'm sorry, it's not loading very quickly. And with that, do you all have any questions I can answer for you all? All righty. Well, thank you guys so much for taking some additional time for me today. I really appreciate it. And again, we cannot thank you enough for your service. You guys are wonderful. So thank you for volunteering for the city.
Thank you, Stacey. Appreciate your time with that and getting us back on track a little and also allowing the new members to get focused on some of that new rules and regulations that we can follow. So moving forward on the next agenda item is going to be the Indigenous Community Connection Fair, which is item B.
Okay, thank you, Stacy, if you're still there. Appreciate it. Yeah, I still see you. I really appreciate all that wonderful information on what we need, what our commissioners need to know. Okay, as far as the Indigenous Community Connection, we have, and one of our IPAC members is here, Diana. Commissioner Cuddy is here if she wants to help with some of this information. But with IPAC at Coconino County, they're holding this event on November 6th, the second annual Indigenous Community Connection Fair. And it is, again, like I said, a collaboration with IPAC and also the Cultural Connection, which is a local nonprofit. And right now we just have a flyer that is part of Native American Heritage Month. And this is, it's going to have, it's just a community event. So art, music, and different workshops that are going to be available. The planning is still going on, but I just wanted to let everybody know. I talked to my leadership and I asked if we would be able, as in the Indigenous Commission, to help, partner and support in this for this community connection fair. And it is okay to do that. And I really want to stress that that maybe we can be part of the connection, Indigenous Connection Fair. So I wanted just to provide that to you as some of the things that we could be doing in partnering with others in our community as far as our county.
Excuse me, Rose. This is Commissioner Lance.
Go ahead.
I got a question. About this Indigenous Community Connection Fair. I mean, I'm just kind of thinking about my own business. So, we hire people from time to time. We got ads out there on different platforms and stuff like that. Would it be something like if I had openings in my business that I could advertise there? Being in Indigenous business, is that something that would be qualified? And it's not so much that I'm like trying to promote myself, but it's trying to, being an Indigenous company, being able to offer people that are, we're probably thinking more Native people are going to be attending this fair and non-Native, but I'm just kind of throwing that out there because I got other friends in different trades, in the construction trades that are Indigenous, electricians, and other businesses that maybe might be able to advertise. You know what I mean? What do you think?
So I think that we're also going to have some tablers, and if you feel like we can have some, if you can maybe come up with a flyer and leave it at our information table, that could be something that could be done. As far as I know, Stacy, if you can help me answer that, as far as would this be appropriate for our commissioner to do?
So I think this is probably more of an discussion that is outside of the commission's purvey, if that makes sense. It sounds like what Commissioner Lance is looking for is to see if he could be a vendor, basically, at the event that the commission is weighing in on.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, Rose, is that Commissioner Lance, tell me if you agree with this, that you would like to ensure that Native-owned businesses are invited to table at the Indigenous Community Connection Fair.
Yes, that's what I'm asking.
Yes. And that would be in the purview of, that is the recommendation from the commission then, if the other commissioners agree with that. And he's using his personal experience to come up with that. Yes.
Okay. So either way, I think if you become a vendor who can spread the word about the different opportunities, that would be, I think, would be acceptable. If you want to just do a flyer that says certain things are happening with your group of people that have openings, we'll also have, I believe, a information table that we can place information on without you having to be there, and then just provide the contacts for you so that people can reach out to you for those positions.
Okay, that sounds good.
Hey Rose, I
Thank you.
tabled this event last year with Audra and them, and we were anticipating to table it again, like for North Country Healthcare in my department. Is there any conflict or any issue or interest like that to still do that this year?
I think yours, at least in my opinion, you're not advertising something that is going to benefit you as a commissioner, right? Or your personal, you're actually providing services, information of services from an entity that provides those kinds of services. Am I correct here, Stacy?
I can't hit the mute fast on the unmute. I'm just trying to find it. So as long as we are not, it sounds to me that Commissioner Lance wants to just be able to table at the event to support the event and to advertise that he has positions open at his company and that he wants to advertise to Indigenous
Stacy,
peoples. Is that correct?
This is a different question from Mariah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Could you repeat the question?
Mariah? She as a representative of North Country is her employer. And she had tabled before at this same event.
Right.
And I mean, for her, I think would be fine because she's representing a company that provides services.
Very remote interest. Yes, for her to advise on this. Yes, because she's just she's just an employee of North Country, so it's a very, very remote interest. Yes.
So I think one of the things that we're going to be doing and promoting, it just has some conversation that we still need to do. And I know we're still meeting on some of the details of this fair. It's really about community. Whatever information we can share, there's going to be art, music, and other workshops available during this, as well as tablers who are also going to be giving information to the public about their services. So that would be something I think would be great. So yes. So are you all on board with partnering in this event?
Yes, I
Yes.
am.
Yeah, and I agree with Commissioner Lance, bringing opportunity and being inclusive with not only our native population, but just the community in general also. So I feel like if we could get more individuals and more people in the same boat with the same focus and plan, that'd be great. And this is, I believe, the first part of a beginning of more to come in later years.
Co-chair, would you go ahead and offer a vote?
Sure. Can we get a vote on those that agree with what has just been discussed from the commissioners? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Uh,
Thank you all.
Any opposing? No opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. And we can move forward to the next agenda item, which is going to be C, change of Indigenous Commission meeting date in November 2023.
So I'm not going to be at our meeting on the 1st, November 1st. So, you guys can still have the meeting if you want. I'll just have someone to cover for me if that's the case. Otherwise, I wanted to leave it up to you to see if we can change the meeting to a different date, maybe the same week, maybe the following day on Thursday at the same time or Friday at the same time. I wanted you to at least discuss it and let me know what to do on that for that date. Thank you.
This is my opinion. I feel like if we're going to have the fair on the 6th, I would like for you to attend the meeting with us prior to that, if you're okay with that, and I'm okay with moving that date, if everyone else agrees.
What date do you want to?
If you said you can make it on that Thursday, um, I'm okay with it. Looks like I see some head nodding, so I think that majority of us looks like we would like you to be there, and we're okay with Thursday. Is that okay with you, Rose?
That's fine. Thursday, the 2nd at noon would be the time, and everybody's okay with that.
So can we go ahead and get a vote on that to have the November Indigenous Commission meeting held on the 2nd Thursday at noon? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I,
Great. I believe that's majority rules, right? Do you agree?
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Rose. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So we will have the meeting on the 2nd at noon, which is the Thursday. Yeah, our meeting has been changed. Thank you. And we can move forward to the item number 6, discussion items. A, update on Indigenous Peoples Day planning.
Okay, so we're still in the planning process. We do have, I just want you to know that we do have an informal working group, and that consists of 3 of our commissioners. That's Commissioner Zavala, as she's dancing away, and and Commissioner Marks, and then Commissioner Whitehair. Those are the 3 working on gathering the information for the you know, that's what Dorothy says, you know,
Oh my,
for the
I
Indigenous Peoples Day. So we have a theme. It is called, so we have a theme. It's reflecting, honoring resilience. It's kind of like boom, 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 kind of. And we have right now, what we have internally with our public affairs is that they will be there. Two of our members will be there to live stream the event. And then also will be attending the event to take photos and videos. Also, we planned a promotional video to promote for social media, etc. And Commissioner Zavala has volunteered to be the one to promote Indigenous Peoples Day. And Commissioner Zavala, that's going to happen the week of September 18th. So I just want you to know that. So somebody from our public affairs office will be in touch with you to schedule that. Okay. And then our venue right now, our first choice is High Country Conference Center. And I'm still gathering. The person who's been in charge of that has been on leave, and I think she just barely got back recently, last couple of days anyway. And so I've reached out to her again this morning to see what the prices will be, food and things like that. So if for some reason it's booked that day, which is October 9th, if it's booked, then our backdrop will, our alternative will be here at City Hall on the lawn out in the front. And we kind of did that because we felt like this is something that the staff always usually partakes in. And so it's kind of easy for them to just walk downstairs and go out to the venue to participate. But having it indoors at High Country is also good in case it's windy or raining or things like that. So those are our thoughts on that. And then we're also going to have some vendors. We're also going to see if we can charge the vendors and use that funding for the food, or if we go with High Country, it'll help with paying for the building, the space. So that's our thoughts on that. And then currently, as far as speakers are concerned, we're still gathering information and getting in touch with them, having them send us what their schedule looks like as far as, and also their costs, if they have things that they need to have paid for them. So right now we're meeting weekly, and tomorrow we're meeting again to discuss some of the other things that we need to bring together to kind of solidify things. So with that, I'd like to see if you can go ahead and vote to approve what we're doing so far.
may ask a quick question, Rose.
Sure.
The food, is that going to be from High Country also?
If we go there, yes, I think it's policy that we have to go with their caterers or with their vendor.
Okay, so is that Bilagana, Americana food?
Probably.
Okay,
I think
just
they
asking.
I think they do have a native venue or a native menu.
Mhm.
But we'll see. We can't, splurge too much, especially if, we have to think about the cost of the building and the cost of the food. So if it's not available, then we'll come back to City Hall, which most likely will be native food if we can find someone to volunteer that portion of preparing the meal. Like you did,
Okay.
Fawn.
Right. And I don't mind. That's the reason why I'm asking. So can you just consider me backup plan? Then
Okay.
I mean, I'm willing to do that. Yeah.
All right. And you'll be able to gather all your helpers?
Yes.
Okay. That's great. Yeah, Saga.
Okay. So can we get a vote on the Indigenous peoples they planning thus far? All
Just
in
real quick,
favor? Okay.
just real quick, do any of the commissioners, Zavala, Daryl Marks, or Commissioner Whitehat, do they want to add anything real quickly? No? Okay. No? Okay. Go ahead, then we'll go ahead and go with the vote.
Okay. So as requested, can we get a vote on what has been planned thus far and agreed with the Indigenous peoples they planning? All in favor, say aye.
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 You
Thank
are
you all.
awesome.
Appreciate it. And we may move forward to the next agenda item, which is number 7, informational items to from commission members, staff, and future agenda items requests.
I don't have anything to announce, but I heard that you got some super awesome award, Fawn, and I was hoping you would share with the group what that was because it sounds really cool.
Thank you, Mariah. So yes, I like to share that yesterday I did receive a National Service Provider Award, and we will have the ceremony at High Country on September 19th. And yeah, that was really great after I felt like I came back from a ceremony over the weekend and didn't properly address or give time to some of the most important things that I do in this life's journey. But I feel like with that being said and that award, I've done my best and given the attention to my work, my family, the commission when I could, and just tried to deliver the service equally to all and community. So thank you all, and you are also my support. I appreciate each and every one of you and what you do on a daily for our youth, all the way up to our elders. And most importantly, also do take care of yourselves. You guys are amazing. I could not live without any one of you. Thank you.
Aw.
Congratulations. So exciting.
Yay.
Yay.
Good
Yeah.
job, Fawn.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
At your
Also,
celebration, will there be Bahana food? Nay.
you silly.
You
No.
deserve it, Fawn.
No.
Also want to mention that I decided to join the roundtable, and that's going to be tomorrow at the water location. It's at the where they do the water cleaning. What is that place
Rio de
called? Rose,
Flag.
tell me.
I'll be there
Yes.
too. Is it at 10
Okay,
o'clock?
great. Yes.
Same. I'll be there
Yeah.
as well.
Awesome. That's good to know. Yeah.
Thank you, commissioners, for that. Your voice is so important on water. Yeah.
And then
I just don't want to
also
pay the penalty fees when Rose gets mad at me.
You're too funny. You're still being recorded, Commissioner Yellowhair.
there is a concern I have, and this involves land. I was wondering if it could possibly be put on the agenda item. I just want possibly to let the city council know that this area of land is very important, and I want to ask that no building or structures demolish or be built on this land. And that's the area around Buffalo Park. I'm quite sure everybody knows which area I'm talking about, where all the deer lay, sit, and every evening they've been there. They've been there a lot lately. I feel like I want to really protect that area because that's like the only part of that area by Buffalo Park that is natural and still very welcoming to our dear four-legged family. So that's one thing that's very concerning to me right now, because there's construction all the way around Buffalo Park as we speak. And just recently, they started a new construction of some kind and demolishing that forest land right across Naka and Safeway. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, I'll look into that.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyone else?
Is the ceremony open to the public to celebrate your award, Commissioner?
I'm waiting
Wade?
for an email. I'm waiting for an email from the county to let us know how many we can invite. Yeah, so I will let you know. But you'll be the first to let know.
That's so exciting.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? Okay, so we can proceed to item number 8. And if no one has anything else, we can adjourn the meeting.
And it's 1:06.
Yeah. So we can call this meeting to adjournment at 1:07, September 6, 2023. Thank you all for coming, commissioners. And thank you, Rose and Stacy.
Awesome.
Great. Thanks.
Thanks, Stacy. Thanks, Rose. Everybody have a good day. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.